Welcome to Save in Magnus B. Diggle, a geography game focusing on map skills. In this game, Magnus B. Diggle is an archaeologist who travels the world looking for rare artifacts on archaeological digs. He has acquired quite a collection of artifacts over his 35 years of travel. It seems, however, that on his latest trip abroad, Mr. Diggle has been kidnapped by a young professor and upcoming archaeologist who will stop at nothing to gain notoriety and wealth. The kidnapper is after a rare tiara which is believed to be hidden within Mr. Diggle's home. Rosalita, his loving wife and research assistant, needs your help to find the artifact and exchange it for the return of her beloved Magnus B. Diggle. The materials you'll need for this game are both the large and small breakout boxes, the lock hasp, the USB drive, hint cards, reflection cards, key lock, 4-digit lock, 3-digit lock, directional lock, and word lock. First, set your locks to the following combinations. The 3-digit lock should be set to 200. The 4-digit lock should be set to 5280. The directional lock should be set to west, north, east, south, west. And the word lock should be set to the word polar, P-O-L-A-R. The resources you will need are the directional signs, the 6 sealed envelopes, the number puzzle, map of Bulgaria, a letter to Rosie, a ruler, map of Florida, eye chart, cipher wheel, cipher code, QR code, and world map. The following items should be placed around your classroom. The directional signs can be printed and hung on the 4 walls. The 6 sealed envelopes should be hidden in various places around your classroom. The eye chart and the world map should be posted on the walls, and a ruler should be somehow accessible to your students. As a digital component to this game, you have a few choices here. You can either print out the QR code and fold it and put it in the small lockbox, or to make it more challenging, you could cut it into 4s like a puzzle that the students have to put together before scanning it. And if you're not comfortable with using a QR code, you could also download the URL onto the USB drive and place that in the lockbox instead. And now let's get into the flow of the game. One of the first clues that students need to figure out is the 3-digit lock, which helps students get into the small breakout box. There's a note to Rosie from Magnus, and it states, "Rosie, went to the city before I realized someone was after me. I soon realized that I may be safer leaving before I see one more of his henchmen. Will contact you soon, somehow. MBD. P.S. Distance makes the heart grow fonder." In this clue, students should notice 3 clues, which I've highlighted for you on the screen. The first one, B4 and C1, which will lead you to a map grid. The only map available that has a grid within this game is the map of Bulgaria. If you look on B4, there is a city which is highlighted with a box around it. And under C1 is a city which I've actually made up called Henchmania. If you look at the PS, it states the distance that makes the heart grow fonder. Hopefully students realize that they need to measure the distance between these 2 cities to come up with that first 3-digit clue, which is 200. Once students make it into the small lockbox, they will find a couple of things. The first one being the cipher wheel. The second, either the QR code or the USB that has the link downloaded onto it, and a map of Florida, which is folded up. Once students have the cipher wheel, they'll be able to decode the cipher that was left on the table or around the classroom at the beginning of the game. Once decoded, it will read, "A house has 4 walls. All walls are facing south. A bear is there. What kind of bear is it?" The answer would be polar, which will lead them to the word lock. The envelopes will help students determine the directional lock combination. There were 6 envelopes hidden around the classroom at the beginning of the game. There are 2 things on each envelope that need to be taken into account. The first being the return address on the top left-hand corner of each envelope. The second is the date stamp on the top right-hand corner of each envelope. When students put these envelopes in chronological order, it will give them the route that Professor Diggle traveled on his archaeological digs. This, used in combination with a world map, will give them the answer to the directional lock. The QR code or the link on the USB that is found in the small lockbox will bring the students to an interactive map online. When they get to the interactive map, they will see a screen like the one that's before you that has 4 locations and the title Rivers. Each pinpoint on the interactive map that is clicked on will bring up an informational box that gives the students question marks, the word river, and a number in parentheses, along with coordinates and a brief background of that river. Students need to use those coordinates to find the names of all 4 rivers. Once they have the name of all 4 rivers, the number indicates the order in which the river names should go in. You should note here that students are free to open up a tab and use a coordinate finder or Google search which rivers are near these coordinates in this part of the world. Once the river names are put into chronological order, students are going to get all excited thinking that it spells out the word mile and think that it's part of the word lock combination. However, it's not. They need to convert miles into feet, and that will give them the 4-digit lock answer, which is 5280. The final clue is for the key lock, and this is comprised of a few different components. The first being the eye chart, which when read out loud says, the sum of all numbers is 12 when solved. That is a clue that helps students to figure out the number puzzle. The number puzzle needs to have all the columns and rows equal the number 12, or give the sum of number 12. When that is done, the numbers will be placed in the boxes below in the order that they are on the chart. So 2, 4, 5, 8, 1, 8. Once those are plugged into the spaces below, there are decimals and arrows. These indicate coordinates, so 24.5 degrees north and negative 81.8 degrees west. Once students have those coordinates, they can look at the map of Florida, which is found in the small lock box. That will bring them to Key West, which will then lead them to the key that's hidden behind the sign that says West that was hidden in the classroom at the beginning of the game, unlocking the final lock on the large breakout box.